America. And even though Chris Broussard predicted a Bills blowout.
No, didn't predict it.
Bro.
I said that was more likely than an upset.
And your pick was Bills by 10.
Likely than an upset.
Okay, your pick was Bills by 10.
That was a prediction alert. You were on prediction alert.
Can I? And I would just like to show. Football's a funny game because Josh Allen played great in this game.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And he's very, very lucky that's the story.
This is true.
Because on back-to-back plays by him, he fumbled. So here's the first one with the Bills up 5. And the Bills defense held, and Miami only got a field goal. The very next time Josh touched the ball, down 8, fourth quarter, this happened. He fumbled. And instead of the Dolphins D lineman hopping on it, the Bills O lineman hops on it. And that's why they won. Or else the Dolphins go up 2 scores, and then the snow comes, and it's over. But because they recovered it, now can we show you the roller coaster Allen thing? For the first time in 6 weeks, we're back up. You see, that's a 120 passer rating for Josh Allen this week, which is his best he's had since the Chiefs game, or since before the Chiefs game. And so listen, I'll give him credit. He was excellent in the first half and then overcame in the second half, and that's a huge victory. I still think the Bills are going to finish 3rd in the AFC. You might say that's crazy. All that means they lose to the Bengals. They go 2-1, but they'll lose in Cincinnati, and they're the 3 seed. And they lost their center potentially for the year yesterday, which is really problematic for him. But that was a really good win. It was a good win.
That's a cool graph, but most of those passer ratings are really high.
No,
I mean, like 157, 112.
No, there's 68, 75, 46, 76,
125,
80,
115, 104, 157, 136.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I wish my stock returns were like this chart that Nick has. What a terrible thing. You only got 157% on your money. Okay, that's horrible. In terms of the game, look, I was more impressed with the Dolphins than I was with the Bills. The fact that 29th ranked Dolphins running offense has 7.5 yards a carry, to me, that's problematic for Buffalo. And I understand there's an element of them having to stop Miami's passing game, but those numbers are pretty staggering.
Felt like Miami should have run more.
Well, there's that, but where I was frustrated, Nick, was the end of the first half, they get the touchdown. Everybody's like, whoa, what a great play. But remember how they mismanaged the end of the first half and the end of the second half the last time they played Miami, and that was the reason they lost the game? If he doesn't get that touchdown, they're not getting any points on that drive.
What Coach is talking about in the final play of the first half, there's 8 seconds left. The Bills have no timeouts. And they decide to let them go for one more play. But the play there is you got 3 seconds to get it out, so if it goes incomplete,
you at least
get a field
goal.
Instead, he held it, but he ended up throwing for a touchdown.
Yeah, so it works out great, and everybody's like, what a great play.
But it could have been 0 points.
But it could have been 0 points, and it's those types of decisions that was the reason they lost the first game against Miami.
It is something over there. The mist that's coming down.
Well, I don't know. You're so worried about the Chiefs passing.
You guys, run defense. Kansas City barely beat the worst team in football.
Beat them by literally twice as many points as the Bills beat the
Miami was one of the top teams in the league for all of the season, and still likely going to make the playoffs.
Miami looked terrible.
They got one of the best receivers in the league who was playing well. And you guys said more positive about Kansas City
on the road,
escaping the
Bills
Texans
are at home
than the Bills
with 70,000
in a snowstorm and freezing cold weather.
Like you said,
no, they're not built for that. We talked about this. They're not built for the cold weather. Josh Allen and Coach, you got to admit, that boy is a bad football player. Bad meaning good, right?
Bad,
like he is. That dude put on a show, and as good as Mahomes was, Josh Allen was better than me. The whole package, the 44-yard run, the Walter Payton dive for the 2-point conversion.
I'm out on that play.
That's a great play. Now he's throwing his body
the tip
all
of
over
my
the
pen got over a touchdown.
I mean, it's literally the rules.
It's called the rules.
But that's fine.
I know it's the rules. But
he had a phenomenal game. That was an MVP performance. He won't be the MVP.
As someone, just real quick, before we move on, 10 seconds. As someone who picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl, does it not worry you how much harm they put him in each and every week?
Watching him, I mean, I think it's him. Yeah, it does. I keep thinking of Cam Newton. I mean, you saw how Cam is about his size.
With McDermott.
And it broke him down. Yeah, no, it's scary because he's reckless out there.
No matter how big you are, those hits add up.
Yeah, I agree.
The goat of giving up leads, Matt Ryan, added to his resume as the Vikings erased a 33-point deficit to win on Saturday. Nick, was this a good win or a bad win? You know, for the Vikings.
Well, you came back from 33 down. It's a great win for them. It keeps them in pole position to be the 2 seed, which is important because it means theoretically San Francisco would have to go to them because I don't think they have any shot of winning in San Francisco, but maybe they, you got Brock Purdy on the road and a loud playoff game being a rough spot. But the story is Jeff Saturday. And the story is the Indianapolis Colts, who in Jeff Saturday, since he got plucked off of the get upset, has been outscored in the fourth quarter, 83-9. 83-9 in the fourth quarter. It almost makes you think you have to be smart and experienced and incredibly well-dressed to be a good NFL coach. And so I just, the idea that the victory lap people were taking after they won one game against the Raiders, since then they have just fallen all over themselves at the end of every game. That's the story here, because as good as the Vikings were, the Colts had to help assist them in that.
I don't know what's happening today because I'm agreeing with Nick again. I honestly, I don't know what's going on.
We need to have a splinter show.
I think it was a great win by Minnesota in the sense that they did something that no one's ever done before.
Right.
But just terrible first half. And the fact that they could play that badly in a half, to me, is a huge problem. And look, the Saturday effect, when you give up 33 points against Dallas in the fourth quarter, have a bye week, and then come back and have the same issues again, there's a component of that as well.
It's just validation of your job, Coach. Like it's hard to. We said this. I think you can do it in the NBA. You can do it in Major League Baseball. No experience, going there and manage your coach. You can't do it in the NFL. It's too hard of a job. It's too complex of a job. You need experience.
Disagree. I could do it. Coming up next.
He kills the Patriots for putting a defensive guy on offense.
And again, turnovers kill you. It killed us today. It's just, not the way we need to do in order to win. That's certainly not the way I need to play in order to win.
I think Tom Brady's coming back. And I think yesterday is one of the reasons for it, because that was as close to Willie Mays stumbling around in the outfield as we've seen from a great quarterback since Peyton Manning had a 5 for 20, 4-interception game against the Chiefs, and then went on to win the Super Bowl. And so it was like, okay, I can leave now, right? He got benched, he got hurt, got benched. This is the closest we've seen to that from an all-time great since that moment. And Brady now this year has lost Aaron Rodgers, the guy who he was always compared to, talent versus system. Lost to Lamar, this next generation of quarterback. Lost to Mahomes. Lost to his hometown team, the Niners. And lost to Joe Burrow, the guy who's currently compared to him. Lost all of them. He's not going out like this. And so I think he's coming back, and I think he's coming back in a better situation. But yesterday, Coach, is on him. I mean, they're up 17-0. And it should have been 7-0 at the half. The Bulls kind of bungled the clock at the end to give the Bengals a little bit of life, giving them time to go into the half for a field goal. But then 4 straight turnovers just can't happen. And I'm not writing the Bucs off like a lot of people have because they're going to get the Cowboys in round 1. But yesterday's on Tom. They had an opportunity for their best win of the season, and they blew it.
Yeah, he's been on the bad side of 2 records in the last few weeks, right? 89-0 when he's leading by 17 points. Yep. That no longer exists. He loses to a quarterback making his first start for the first time ever. So those are disappointing things. Look, when a team is as one-dimensional as Tampa Bay is, I think it's hard for any quarterback, and I think it becomes even harder for a guy like Tom. They just can't have any balance, and defenses can tee off, and everything is expected from him, and he's expected to carry everything. There's no other second pitch to really go to, and that's frustrating to watch from my perspective.
Yeah, it's kind of like everything has to be perfect for him now. He can make the plays when things are perfect. And so that's why maybe if he goes to San Francisco or whatever. But look, yesterday, I agree, Nick, was all on him. His four turnovers, the first 3 were all in Tampa Bay territory. all led to touchdowns. That was the game. For those 3 touchdowns, Cincinnati only had to go 83
Yeah,
yards.
Burrow only threw
Because
for
they
200
all, right,
yards.
they were all
like,
right
they didn't
there.
have some monster.
That's the worst thing about the turnovers.
You're saying that he wants like a run game, right? Like go back to New England, get a run game. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it'd be to have a run game.
That cannot be
I don't
even
think
on his list.
It's on the list.
I don't think that reunion's going to happen, but like some semblance of a run game to add balance, make play action meaningful.
Yeah.
Slow down pass rushers.
Early
any of
on,
those
their
things.
play
Run
action
game,
was
good
working in the
defense.
first
I don't
half.
know, something you're familiar with makes sense to me. Hey, let's check in on Josh Fleury. Bills over Dolphins in a snowball
Good
fight.
call by you, boy.
Miami, pretty good, but couldn't stop the flurry of touchdowns. 4 on the day for Josh Allen. Nick, you probably didn't like it.
Well, no, I thought. Listen,
He was okay.
No, because Wilds. What do they call me?
Mr. Consistency.
Because of that, I will give the Bills the same dispensation I gave the Chiefs. Even